As mentioned, I would bring a friend on the phone with me all the way from Monroe, New York, chassidic superstar singer, the one and only Levy Falkowitz. Levy, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Yossi?
Baruch Hashem. So, I just saw online you were performing with Yerli Dickman at a dinner just the other night.
Yeah, that was something. Yeshiva's Mir dinner, it was something.
It's amazing.
It was just gorgeous.
Did you actually go to Mir?
Yeah, I was there. I was in Israel for 4 years, and a good 3 of it, I was in Yeshiva's Mir.
See, everyone thinks that only Yeshivish guys go to Mir. Last year, I think Shulm Lemmer did the show at Simcha Liner. It's amazing how we're finding out all these Mir alumni, all these nice chassidic boys, huh?
It's full of Hasidic Bochurim. I think they have, in my time, they had a whole chabirin, like a whole floor, just for Hasidic boys.
Really? I didn't know that.
I think that part grew, or I don't know. Today, it's 12 years later, so many things have changed.
Amazing, definitely. Levy Falkowitz with us via telephone talking about his latest hit album, his second album, Toiv Lee.
Toiv Lee, Segit.
Wus is git, Levy, wus is git. Alles is git?
It's all good. It's all good.
You know, Michal Schnitzer had a song, Relipa Git Vart. You know, jeder alles is git. Man darf reden git, und man will's git, right?
Yeah, Trach git will sein git.
Trach git will sein git. Levy, you have one of the most unique perspective, personality. I think the first time I first become aware of you was you hooked up with Freilich, and I got this clip of Levy Falkowitz doing Adon Olam.
Oh, that's long.
Yeah, I'm saying, and I was like, "Wow, look at this guy! This Hasidic guy is doing this. You know, I guess a more funky version of a song that you normally wouldn't expect a Heimish singer to sing, and it was just so unique, and the performance was flawless, and you gave it the attitude the song needed. And
yeah, that was a lot of fun with Mark Feinberg on the sax. It was fun.
Correct.
It was a fun moment.
Now, on one side, you're an avid music fan like me. You like different styles. You like doing something that's unique and not necessarily in your genre or in your background. On the other hand, you have to walk a very fine line. You are a Hasidic singer, you know. As far as I know, you don't perform to mixed crowds or do any big concerts or anything like that.
No, I haven't done that yet. I hope not to do it. I don't know. It's a fine line. You have to define who you are. Where do you belong? What your kids are looking. What's the perspective from your family? You have to walk the tightrope. But on the other hand, the crowd that I'm serving, the people that appreciate quality in the Heimische level, not just the Hasidic oil, even the modern or the Litvische crowd, they want quality, but good Jewish healthy music, and that's only growing worldwide, and it's beautiful, the response.
Right. So 2 years ago, you released your debut album after, I don't know, you've been singing for, I think, 6 to 8 years before that. You were really singing for a long time before your debut album came out, Levy.
Yeah, and I'm actually happy I did it that way.
Why?
Why? Because simply it takes an artist an average of 8 years to get to know his sound, to get to know his stage presence, to understand his following, to understand what works as an artist and as a platform.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time. Nobody is born with it. Some have more talent, some have less. But the art of performing, the art of having the stage and understanding the audience takes time.
Interesting. I usually don't hear that from a lot of artists, but I definitely agreed with you. I remember we spoke a few months ago. I was talking to you, and you said that you grew up listening to Michal Streicher and Dedi and Fried and Matcha and Yom Tov Erlich, and especially Moshe Goldman and the Yiddish classics. How did your taste go from there to the eclectic palette that you have today?
Well, first of all, it wasn't a specific tone, a specific type, a genre. It was all. Mm-hmm. Every day, all the time. You couldn't find me on my off time without earphones in the ears. That was my thing. I mean, I used to travel everywhere. I made sure I had my 6-7 CDs, and I was just stuck on music.
See, this is where we see the age difference. I used to go. I went when I was 14 to Toronto for my faher to go out of town yeshiva. I had a Walkman with Avram Fried's Bracha Matzlacha tape. You had CDs, Levy. Yeah.
CD, okay, that came later. When I was a kid, I also listened to tapes.
Right.
I remember when CDs came out, and it became mainstream. I think Yochad V'Rabim was the first CD that I saw on a mainstream level.
It's possible. It's possible. It was probably early 90s, yeah. So
It was that time.
So you were a music fan like me. I mean, I remember, who was it? Nachman Dreyer. Somebody told me that that when you went there to Yisrael, like most of your luggage was music and a boombox.
Yeah, that was me. I remember I went to Israel for the first time, and my father told me, okay, you got to take along the stuff that you need. So I took an extra kiffert and I filled it up with a boombox. And I remember my Yeshiva walked in while I was unpacking. He opened his eyes. He was like, what? Where do you think you can? Listen, it's part of my neshama. I wasn't planning to be a singer because my family, my older brother was already the singer.
Right,
Yossi was already the singer.
Right.
And I told myself, okay, I'll just watch from the side and enjoy it. And I guess when I became a little older, 19, I started getting pushed into jobs in Israel as a bocher still.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a chassan, I started doing weddings with Shai Gross. And then I once fell into a studio because I was together with Nachman Dreyer in Yeshiva. And he pushed me into this recording and that recording. And one thing led to another. And I found myself in the business. By the time I got married, I was already on 6-7 albums and I've done numerous gigs. So
right,
this is the business. I guess I'm in this business.
Amazing. I mean, your history is very interesting. You worked with Freilich, like you said, you were on 6 or 7 albums. Then you're working with Mendy Hershkowitz, then Penny Ostreicher, and the next thing you know, you and this guy I've never heard of, Avrum Mordche Schwartz, are producing your debut album.
Listen, I tried everything that is unique and that has a little fresh color.
Right.
And I was ready to take any highway and any untraveled road to get that result. And some worked, some didn't. Some brought to the table many good things. Penny gave me 2 good songs. Mendy Hershkowitz brought me Lafichach, which you love. Everyone brought something to the table to get this unique project out there. Now, that's how I got to know Schwartz. Schwartz I got to know through my voice teacher, and we met there. He was still very young.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's 26 now. So we bumped into each other a long time ago, and we just bonded on a very deep level musically, and we understood each other right away. And I helped him grow up with music that I listened to. He helped him grow up with his visions that he had. And together we started building a concept and taking something that is an idea into a reality. And of course, the first album was a journey. It was a very long journey. Some of it was very exciting. Some of it was very painful through unexperienced episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But the second album, that was the beauty. We understood what we want, and Avrum Mordche has a great vision and a good nose for what works and what could be popular and what is a good fit with my vocals. And thank God we cut out a lot of stupid decisions that we made in the first album, and we got there much faster, with much less spending and better results, quality. He handpicked every musician. He handpicked every arranger and sat with the arranger and went over and came with a ready thing to the arranger. The vision. It's all about the vision. The rest just follows. People that see confident and well-informed people walk into the studio, they just say, "Okay, do your thing."
Right.
We'll follow.
Well, I got to tell you, you explained to me that I needed to have the listening experience of the second album in full before I even talked to you about it. It did
listening experience.
It did take some time, but I finally got around to it. And upon glancing quickly the first time, might seem like, okay, it's a chassidic album. It's a lot of Yiddish. I'm not really going to go for it. After you go through each song and read the book and hear the different musical styles, it's a very eclectic mix of some really unique arrangement styles.
That was the feedback the first week, and for some people, I can always read where the person is up to based on what he tells me. So if he says, "Nice album," I like Halamistim. "Oh, you got a nice song, Toiv Lee." Yeah, nice album. I know he's up to the first time. I know that, and I'm okay with it. It's a
funny,
heavy album.
Because I met
a lot of info.
I met Levy 2 weeks ago. We were schmoozing, believe it or not, at a wedding hall in Lakewood in our cars, side by side in the freezing cold. And,
right.
And Levy's like, "Yeah, you're not ready to interview me. Listen to the album again. Listen to the album again." And I called him last week and I said, "Okay, I just played these few songs, and I was really impressed with the vocals and the arrangement." He's like, "Okay, now next week we can talk about doing an interview."
Listen, it's an experience. It's an album that there's a lot of info. It's a heavy album. There's a lot to listen, a lot of details. People just keep getting more and more into it. It's like an onion. Every time you peel, there's another layer. There's another layer. And the music was written very rich, details and details of details. It takes time till the brain absorbs these things. So usually, I remember this with the good albums from Frieda and MBD.
Mm-hmm.
It happened the same thing. I remember putting in Lule Serosco from MBD. The first time I didn't know what's going on. Too many noises, too much going on. The brass is overwhelming. This is overwhelming. The choir, the vocals are something I couldn't relate. And as I grew into it, probably one of my most favorite albums.
I got to tell you, listener Yehuda in Eretz Yisrael says, "I think the best part of the album is the vocals. They're also beautiful, calm, professional, and spot on." So that's...
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, our listeners are always commenting when we told people that we're going to be interviewing you, like the messages just started coming in really, really quick. Shimon R. Levy delivered a great album. Every song is a gem by itself. His singing is so pleasant. Toiv Lee. It's good. It's good and it's sweet. That was his response. So,
okay.
As far as I'm concerned, if you love songs like on the first album, V'Yazar or Kol Daidi, the more out there songs, or Lefichach, Levy does have stuff of a similar style in the new album. You got to look for it and you got to listen very closely. Toiv Lee has some great arrangements. Kan in itself, what style would you even put that in, Levy, musically?
I guess it's, I don't know, it's not salsa specific. It's more like bachata, that kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Spanish-Mexican dance, and it's authentic. So I don't know. Some would simplify it as a samba, but I think it's there's more details to it. Specific, every feel has a different name.
Definitely. We played Yemaisa Mashiach last week, and we got people really, really like that. That, of course, was composed by your good friend Penny Ostreicher, with lyrics composed by Avrum Mordche Schwartz. I guess he's a lyricist as well.
Yeah, that's another thing with the Avrum Mordche. He has a way of writing lyrics that fits every word. And he can sometimes, while I'm recording it, okay, that word is not sitting well. Let's change that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the second verse, let's do something else. He's like on top of it. It's very interesting how he does these things. Now, this album,
you actually went very different route. The last album you had Mendy Hershkowitz, you had Yorli Dickman. You have some Yorli Dickman here, but there is a lot of Udi Damari. I mean, how did that come about, and what was that like? Because Udi's somebody we definitely want to keep our eye on.
Udi was mixing the first album.
Really?
Chesky Breuer introduced us to the name.
Mm-hmm.
And we liked working with him. He's sincere, he's committed, and he has a good ear and a very well set up. And as we got to know each other, he showed us stuff that he did for free, and he did for that and for this, and some Chaim Yisrael stuff. Avrum Mordche went nuts. I mean, he heard the guitars, the feel, the sound, everything, how it's layered, and he says, "Why not do this for chassidic albums?"
But was this this is Udi's first chassidic album? I think that he's worked on, right?
I guess on that level, with that many songs, yes.
Right. So it must be a big deal for him.
But now he's like slowly coming in. Everyone is like trying to get a piece of him.
Right.
I see Shirley Myers using him a lot now with many new guys. I think or Chaim David or maybe Mordechai Shapiro or Levi Cohen. They all have something from him, I think.
Yeah, Levi Cohen has that Todah song. That's a great arrangement right there. Great song. Very, very good energy. Levy Falkowitz with us via telephone talking about his latest hit album, Toiv Lee, his second album, produced by Avrum Mordche Schwartz. One of the songs, of course, that we played first, Levy, being that your album came out near Hanukkah time, was track 9 by a guy that I hear you're involved in producing his album as well, the upcoming artist, Surly Lipschitz.
Surly Lipschitz. Yeah. That's a multi-talented young kid. Amazing. Originally from England, got married into Israel, Bnei Brak. I bumped into him a long time ago. He started WhatsApping me.
Mm-hmm.
This young 19-year-old English boy saying, "I've got some songs. You want to listen to it? I think it's quite fabulous." And I'm like, "Okay, send it in." And so he started sending demos, and I'm like, "Who's making the music? Who's doing the backup vocals? Who's singing the song?" He's like, "It's all me. It's all me."
He's very talented.
We just started, having a good time. Always sending me in weird, interesting songs. He has an interesting way of seeing music in a total different light. He's a perfect balance of fresh sound with the old warm feel, and he understands well the digital part of the music and how to program stuff. So he sent me Alanissim, I think 3-4 years ago, and I said, good stuff. I didn't look at it because I didn't feel that Alanissim, maybe it's a seasonal song, but when we went into this album, Avrum Mordche said, I think seasonal words are only applied when it's not a good song.
Interesting.
If it's a good song,
Okay.
it goes. Agdumas Mill, I sing Agdumas Mill from Yoli Greenfield from time to time. It's a good song.
Yeah, it definitely is. And there are those that say that seasonal songs are good because then you're guaranteed played that time of year. So if it's a few years later,
okay, that's a plus. That's a plus. It always stays around.
Right.
But a good song these days, it doesn't matter. People sing Varastig.
You're right.
What does Varastig have to do with the wedding?
Oh, you put on tefillin every day.
It's a good song.
But you put on tefillin every day.
True. But I'm saying the point is not every time the words.
No, it has a good feel, and it works well for dancing.
It has a good feel.
Correct.
And again, ala nitzah v'ala pirkan. The message is simple.
Definitely true. Levy Falkowitz with us via telephone. I just got a message from Volvi Lichtenstein. By the way, I love the way Levy delivered my song, Echad Amarba. I just want to tell him how much I appreciate it and how much I'm loving it.
If he's on the air, I want to tell a little story that I had 2 days ago.
Okay.
I received a message on WhatsApp from a young kid. Says, "Hi, you don't know me. I want to tell you I'm a dropout, and it's been going very hard for me in life, and I'm trying to hold on to the little Yiddishkeit that I do have. But opening a sefer is mamish very difficult, extremely difficult for me. But I want to tell you that song Echad Amarva gave me that push that I needed, and I really it gave me the energy to do what I got to do.
Wow.
So there's a feature in WhatsApp you can erase the message within 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So the kid, I guess, was or embarrassed or he felt that he just had a moment and that moment has passed. I don't know what it was, so he erased it.
Right.
So I'm replying. I'm saying too late. So we got to talk. It's a beautiful neshama, but it's amazing. That song speaks to every person. People tell me this gives me energy every morning. I start the day. I listen to those words. If for the non-Yiddish speaking people, the words are simple. It's not really how much you do. It's what the heart and how much you put in and how much you relate to what you do. And Hashem sees that. Hashem hears that and appreciates the little things that we do. And the difference between someone doing 6 hours a day of learning and has that ability to sit there at Tzifis and learn versus the guy that has to bring in Panus in the house and he's committed to that half an hour shear every day. Those differences, Hashem sees the difference, but he appreciates the effort.
Amazing. I just noticed this now. First of all, I'm a good friend of Volvi, and I've heard many of his demos over the years. Volvi has some great stuff. But I didn't know this song was arranged by Lev Yaakov Rigler. I'm a major fan of Lev Yaakov. I didn't even know you guys worked together.
Every arranger that we ended up going with is a story. We wanted this, we wanted that, and how we found his name out of the blue and said, wow, this would be perfect. And Avrum Mordche went back and forth with him on every detail in the intro, changing up and down. And we were there while he recorded the strings. It's a journey. It's beautiful. The way he brought it out. He didn't understand the words either, and we had to translate it in English. And he connected to it right away.
Mm-hmm.
We sent him Toiv Lee and Echad Amarva, and he connected to Echad Amarva.
So, Levy, now that you have an album that, I remember before the album was coming out, we were talking, and you said it was a Yiddish album, then you said it's going to be a regular album, mostly Yiddish. Is it harder finding Yiddish words or people who can write Yiddish, once you already have the niggin or you have the idea of the song, or is it not as hard as one might think?
Well, depends whom you're asking. If you're asking me, yes, it's very difficult. The reason for it is because to find words that sit well musically and make sense, and vocally easy to sing and placed in the right place, it's a lot of work, and it doesn't matter which language. Mm-hmm. Placing words are very difficult for somebody that has a preference and a style in one specific way the word should sit. But if you're asking anyone else,
you're asking Avrum Mordche Schwartz, he's going to say, yeah, it's easy, yeah.
No. You should know. Avrum Mordche takes his time on writing lyrics. Some of the songs he finished in the studio while I was doing the first verse. He was still working on the chorus.
You really recorded like that?
It takes time.
Wow.
Every word was on and on, over in the head, again and again, like going back and forth. How will it sit? How will it sound? Will it be easy in the mouth? Will it sit? The vowels will be right. Those are very strong details. It needs a lot of Yeshiva Das.
Listener Yehuda writes in, he goes, I love the song Kan Kan, but I wanted to know what the song was about. I love the funky music, but I don't understand what the message is supposed to be.
Well, the message is simple. Don't judge a book by its cover.
I guess that's a timeless message that we've been heard many different languages, many different ways. Yeah,
it's a simple message, and it's just not in English. It's English and Kurdish.
I guess that's why he's asking.
Those are the words. Don't look at the barrel. Just taste the wine, because wine, if it comes in a nice bottle, it's a problem for the wine. That's what the Mishnah says. So the concept is don't judge a book by its cover. Very simple.
Yeah.
Everyone has a neshama inside, and it doesn't matter if he looks this way or that way. The neshama, the spark is there.
Mm-hmm. Listener Shimon says his favorite song is Echad Hamarva. He seems to agree with you. Levy, we've seen many videos from you in the last few years. From your first album, you had a selection that was done. I think it was Levy Falkowitz was done in the studio. That looked very cool. And then you did that amazing video with Shira in
Nafshi.
Yes. In that big house in Muncie with everybody pressing at the big table with the chandeliers. Are we going to see any videos coming from the new album, Levy?
I don't have a set idea right now. I would love people to comment on Twitter or Instagram and raise their opinions about what they would like to see in concept. There are many different ideas that we were going through. Mm-hmm. Some say take the mainstream, Toiv Lee, and go with it, do something big. Some say take Libby, do something intimate and very cozy. There's many different ideas. Or take Alamitza and do mainstream dancing.
Right.
There are a few highways to travel.
Okay, well, you guys heard it here. Contact Levy Falkowitz, Levy Falkowitz, on either Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. And I'm assuming if somebody... Levy?
Or at gmail.com.
Or at gmail.com. And like Levy said, you want to contact him, you want to book him, social media, I guess, is the best way to go. Is there a website or a phone number, Levy, or social media is the best way to go?
There's a phone number. On all my pages, I put out my number. It's very simple. Just click the button.
Oh, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Levy, I want to wish you Hatzlucha Rabba.
Hatzlucha Bruchen. Thank you, Yossi, for your time.
My pleasure.
It's been the warmest day since 2-3 weeks.
We're middle of a heat wave now. You know that, right?
A heat wave, yeah. We're looking at 44.
44 in January.
You kidding me?
Crazy. Levy, have an amazing day.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week.
Toda Rabba.
Bye.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Levy Falkowitz here off his latest album, Toiv Lee. B'chol Ma'aminim. And you, my friends, are tuned into the Z Report Live Lunch on the Jewish Entertainment Network.